What's up, guys? Welcome to Gwhisky. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below, and with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Bunnahabhain Stiu. Stick around. Alright, so we're looking at a budget Bunnahabhain today, and I like Bunnahabhain a lot, and of course I like budget-friendly things a lot. So in theory, we're off to a good start, but in practice, we'll have to see. And that's because, in my experience, Bunnahabhain is at its best with an age statement. Now, fair enough, that's going to be true of most brands, but Bunnahabhain in particular, if we look at the 12 is a legend. The 18, if you get the right batch, the 18 can be one of the best 18-year-olds that money can buy. But aside from a couple of their peated, no age stated expressions, most of their unpeated, no age stated stuff is, well, it's a mixed bag. To their credit though, their no age stated whiskeys are almost always craft presented and affordable. This one is both of those things. It's matured in first and second fill sherry barrels, and according to the website, this is made using whiskey of varying ages from various warehouse locations, which is kind of funny. I mean, that is a specific piece of information telling us something very non-specific, but I'll take it. Stuart's red hair means helmsman in Scotch Gaelic, and this whiskey was designed to give us some of the sherry flavors that make the 12 so iconic, while also highlighting the coastal character of Bunnahabhain. So once again, on paper, we're looking good. But as is always the case with whiskey, it's going to come down to execution, and broadly speaking, I do have faith in Bunnahabhain. I do think they're a top brand, but I don't have a lot of faith in their no age stated expressions. Again, very mixed bag, so let's see where we land on this one. Let's jump into our review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. Apologies, guys. While I was recording, I totally forgot to do the specs bit, so we'll just do that now. I don't have any video. This will just have to be all audio. We've got our specs board up here. I guess on the other side, I'll just show a shot of the Bunnahabhain distillery or something. Anyway, this one gives us the usual Bunnahabhain spec, so that comes in at 46.3%. It's non-chill filtered, and our color is natural. Okay, so we've got a pretty standard Bunna look here, which I think is fine. I feel like maybe I'm getting too used to it, but I don't really feel any which way about it. I guess there is something to be said for keeping that sort of traditional look. So yeah, let's give this 3 out of 5 for presentation. This does say non-chill filtered and natural color. It does actually give us the correct pronunciation on the back of the bottle, as most Bunnas do. This one is Sturadur. Okay. We get some tasting notes, we get some basic cask and production information on the back. So everything we need in terms of information is there, and the look is fine. So I did add a splash of water to this. On the nose, this is quite a young whiskey. There are some of those papery cardboard notes that indicate youth in whiskey. I also get alcohol, there's butterscotch, there's sea spray. There's a very drying saltiness here. There's also some ginger in here, there's some green apples, some sultanas. Initially, this is not very sherry forward, but slowly with time, the sherry notes do start to come through. Is this a beautiful nose? No. On the palate and finish, this is quite mouth coating. It gives us some honey, some caramel, some butterscotch. There is some sherry in here. And listen, I know it's not, but this kind of hits like a Fino sherry in the sense that it's very nutty and it's very dry, which I wasn't expecting. This is salty and savory. I get sweet and sour sauce. There's ginger, there's vanilla, there's orange peel, there's nuts. The finish here is much rounder and creamier than the nose suggested. Medium finish. Okay, so this whiskey is weird. It's a roller coaster. To be honest, I'm still not very sure where I land on this stuff. There are some really solid elements in here. Parts of this whiskey I thoroughly enjoy, and then there are other parts, other elements where I'm not there. It's not very good. I think for me the most striking thing about this whiskey is that there's this huge disparity between the nose and the palate and the finish. I remember when I first sniffed this whiskey, I was like, no. And then when I finished sipping the whiskey, I was like, yes. Subscribe for more insightful commentary. But yeah, man, that nose is full of those papery, cardboardy notes that I really don't like. They're definitely an indicator that the whiskey is not ready. It's undercooked, too much youth. Is this whiskey too young? Absolutely, yes, it is. I would recommend leaving the glass out, both for the nose and for the arrival. It gets better the longer the whiskey is sat out, but no, it's still too young. Now, I've said this many times before on the channel, young does not equal bad, but this is one of those cases where definitely more time in the casks would have helped things along. And even on the arrival, like when this comes in your mouth, nope. When you first sip on this, again, those flavors are very young. You get those cardboardy, papery notes, but then as things move along, as we transition towards the finish, those start to dissipate. And here's the thing about the finish, it's really good. It gets creamier, it gets more coastal, our sherry starts to kick in more, it becomes much more rounded than the rest of the experience. We get stuff like creamy sultanas, stewed fruits, green apples, sea salt, fantastic. So yeah, the finish is really, really good, and it's by far the best thing about this whiskey. So as I said, it's a roller coaster, it's really strange. To quote my girlfriend, in the end I did have fun, but for the most part, it was pretty lackluster. And I think it's either very tricky or very clever to make the best part of your whiskey the finish, because the finish is the part that sticks with you. Like you finish your dram and you're breathing out and you have all these beautiful like fruits and spices and you think, oh, that was actually quite nice. And those less enjoyable elements from 7 seconds ago are now a distant memory. Anyway, whatever. We do get the salty coastal elements that are often masked in more sherry-forward Bunnahabhains. Now, we do have sherry in this, and it is sort of reminiscent of some of the sherry flavors we can expect from the 12, or we get in the 12, but it's a little bit more drawn back, and that does allow more room for those coastal elements to come through, and that is something that I appreciate in this whiskey. So yeah, again, some good elements in here. Ultimately, though, I do think this is a below average whiskey with some spectacular elements. And you know, because there are some elements in here that I really enjoy, I don't want to hate the whiskey, and I don't hate the whiskey, but I do have to look at it as a whole, and it's just too fucking chaotic. Like the nose and arrival are too young and papery and metallic and generally just unpleasant, and then it morphs into this really, really good whiskey, and I guess I just need like a smoother evolution of flavor and quality because my monkey brain can't handle this. So for score, I'm gonna land on 82 for this one. I do think it's a deeply flawed and under-matured whiskey with flashes of deliciousness. I have a buddy who's just as experienced as I am, and he quite likes this stuff, so I think your mileage will vary, and there will be people who enjoy this one. I would suggest, if you do pick it up, to leave it out in the glass, let it sit out for a little while, and let some of those younger flavors start to dissipate. It does become more rounded. Yeah, it's a very uneven whiskey, but it will keep things interesting. So while I did have a tough time getting along with this whiskey, I can't say that it's bad value. This is very much in budget territory, which is absolutely where it should be. I paid about 40 US, just over 30 pounds for this stuff, and I definitely wouldn't pay any more than that, nor do I need another bottle of this again. Like I said, my friend enjoyed it, he might buy another, but one was enough for me. Alright, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, I do have the Patreon. Otherwise, you can like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate it. And of course, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried our Bunnahabhain Stiu? What are your thoughts on it? How would you compare it to the 12 or the rest of the lineup? Do you think it's worth the money? Let me know down below. Finally, down below in the comments, you can tell me what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.